John Waters was born April 22, 1946 in Baltimore, Maryland. Affectionately called the Duke of Dirt, the Prince of Puke, and the Sultan of Smut. An author, artist, and filmmaker known for his outlandish humor and deviant movies, John Waters is a phenom from the midnight movie craze in America in the late 1960s and throughout the 1970s. His breakout hit Pink Flamingos was an enormous success in the underground theatrical porn world, a form of pre-punk shock cinema that disgusted audiences the world over when the title character, played by the transvestite actor Divine, ate freshly excreted dog shit off the street. This epic feat of low-brow shock would ultimately characterize Divine as the filthiest actress alive. Flash forward 16 years later, and John Waters would complete a family-friendly, PG-rated integration comedy that would become a cult classic masterpiece. Hairspray, released in 1988, and John Waters' second 35mm feature, would be one of the filmmaker's most important movies. A period piece set in 1962 Baltimore, Hairspray is a story about a precocious fat girl, played by the then newcomer Ricki Lake, who dreams of reaching stardom on the local television dance program. Hairspray is certainly John Waters' most deviant film, and that could be discussed at length. I could do a breakdown about the musical numbers, the dark humor, the mise-en-scene, and the social commentary, but I won't. What I really want to talk about is how this film brought John Waters into the mainstream, which started his second wave of cinema in which he matured as a filmmaker and ensured that his legacy could be rediscovered by cinephiles for generations to come. At the time, the $2 million budget was an astronomical sum for John Waters. His most expensive film up to that point was Polyester, made for $300,000 and released 7 years earlier. Polyester was a modest hit for John, but after that, he tried to make a sequel to Pink Flamingos that no one was interested in funding. Eventually he changed gears, and as John Waters said, his obsession for the beehive fashion of the early 60s was one of the few things that movie executives found palatable, so he set out to make Hairspray. Initially, New Line Cinema, who had distributed some of John's films, including Pink Flamingos, passed on the project. They weren't interested in another X-rated shock work, and at the time, their Nightmare on Elm Street franchise was changing the landscape of New Line into a mini-major studio. John had to find his own source of funds, and after a couple years, he found an angel investor who put up the $1 million. When New Line heard about this, they came back to the project, purchased the property, and extended the budget to $2 million. This is actually quite a coup because this would set John up for the main stage and allow Hairspray to be a nationally released film in the cineplexes across the United States. The story of John Waters really is about the subversive outsider working his way to the top and becoming a respectable filmmaker in the eyes of the mainstream marketplace. No matter what type of film he decides to make, a John Waters film will always be a John Waters film. He found a way to be an auteur in his own terms. As time went by, he matured, he didn't stay static, and his first foray into mainstream cinema is still in debate today. It's remarkable. He goes from creating a scandal with dog shit to creating a deviant work of family cinema about tolerance and determination. He's clearly a brilliant writer. He's got a brilliant mind, and he's a product of the first real modern punk outsiders, before there was punk. And this grew out of Baltimore, Maryland, where he still lives and works today. Hairspray is more than just a cult classic or a beacon of cultural reference. It's the tipping point for an auteur who's been given the opportunity to explore his craft. A chance to remind the world that outsider artists have a valid and culturally significant place in mainstream society. That without Hairspray, John Waters may have never grown out of fringe films like Multiple Maniacs or Female Trouble. He could have easily fallen into legions of shock jock directors who titillated and disgusted audiences for a quick dollar. But he chose a different path, and thankfully for us, that path he chose has made him indelible to all of us. We laugh with him, we study art with him, we challenge censorship and diversity with him. John Waters reminds us that the outsider fringe should never be undervalued, but celebrated. I really hope you enjoy Hairspray, and in the future, I hope you take the time to investigate all the work that John Waters has accomplished. It's incredibly rewarding, humorous, and life-affirming. Thank you very much. My name's Ira Flowers. I'm a local filmmaker from Portland, and please keep supporting the Clinton Street Theater. Cheers.
Pure